back in. So we got a 1 and a 2 for the 12, and then we got 2 side markers. So the first thing I want to do is ream out these holes a little bit. Okay, these are maybe watch reamers, and they're used to enlarge hands and dials, whatever you need. So first of all, we're just going to go through here and see if we can get in through there. I'm just going to enlarge them a little bit, get the glue out of them. You have to be careful because these break awful easily, and they're not cheap either. You can get these from watchmaker supplies or local clock supply houses too. They should carry them. If you have problems, I can probably show you where to find them. I don't recommend doing dial work if you're a clockmaker and never done any watch work. I do recommend that you learn how to put crystals in and batteries, because it's lucrative and it's a nice sideline if you're working out of your house. So that helps. So we got the markers ready to go. So the next thing to do is glue these in. And you can either use crystal glues or Loctite glues or quick glue, or what do they call them? I'll attempt to try one of these. See if we can do this. Okay, well, see if we can do. This is not something I'd recommend to a clockmaker who doesn't have any experience with watches. Like I said, the crystals is one thing and watch batteries is another, and those are easily handleable. So this required a little more talent, a little more practice, and we'll see how well I do. Now I use thick hot glue, and the reason I use thick hot glue is because it doesn't set quite so fast, and it gives you a chance to at least get it in there. Alright, 2's in. We'll do the 1 a little bit, but I'm going to let that set because I don't want that moving while I'm trying to do the next one. So this is really a kind of a difficult one because those holes didn't line up very well. So there's two more holes right next to it, and that's where the 1 goes. And then we'll put the markers in, but we're going to let that set for about 30 or 40 minutes and let that really dry tight. And then we'll go on and put the rest of them in. But that's kind of how it's done. What I did is I turned it upside down. I used hot glue, thick style glue, because it is a slower drying glue that way. And it gives you enough time to try and get the letter put back in, or the number, and get it secured, and then let it dry. So you kind of seen how it's done, and we'll go on from there. Let's see if we can put one of these markers back in. Okay, same thing. I used hot glue on the back, and we'll get that one in there and let it dry. See, we can probably put this other marker in. I'll get the glue on it, and then we'll get going here. So. Okay. Get the glue off the tweezers. Okay. Let those dry for about 30 minutes, and we'll be back, and we'll put that one in there, and then we're ready to reinsert the dial and put her back together and charge the customer about 60. Now we got just a tiny little bit. You probably couldn't see it by the eyes once it's back in the watch, but what I'm using is a little acetone, and I just put it on a little piece of pithwood like this here, and let's see how close I can get here. Okay, this is just plain pithwood. I dipped it in some acetone here, and we'll just take the surface glue back off of this. And it comes right off. You don't want to use a Q-tip or something like that. You just use your pithwood. It'll get most of it off of there, and so that the customer will never know. There comes a big piece of it off. You don't want that acetone to drip down underneath your dial markers, or otherwise, you know, that could work the glue back loose since it's hot glue. Alright, got one here. One here. Alright, she's ready to go back together. Now, this is the calibrated dial that goes in the top here. And that's why the two holes are in the dial that I was trying to figure out why they were there. And so let's find those. Okay, we've got the stem pushed back into the detent. Got the dial set back down on the new glass. All we have to do is put the backing in. Dropped it on the floor, naturally. Okay. This is just blow off. I have an air compressor too, but I keep that for rainy days. Believe it or not, we used to sell blow off by the pellets. Here in Grand Island, we had a going little business with it. Sold blow off and all the different cleaners they came out with, and the contacts, and like anything, eventually it died out on the website, and we no longer do it. But we used to buy like a full case or full pellet full of blow off, and then we'd sell 6-packs all over the United States, box it and ship it out. So surprising what you can do. Alright, so we'll take a little blow off. Make sure that the back is nice and clean. Okay, we're ready to put her back together. This customer will really be happy because he's been waiting quite a while for this to be done. The axle's free, so we know we're right in the right spot. Gasket's nice and tight. All we have to do is set it, and we are looking at about 1 o'clock. About 8 to 1. And kind of a neat little clock, little watch. And she's all ready to go. So I have probably close to an hour in this, so I charge $65 an hour to do watches. So we were looking probably with the crystal and everything right around $75. I don't know whether, I think some of these other watch companies might charge quite a bit more than that, but I think all in all what we did, we have over about an hour in this thing, so I think that's about right for this. So any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to talk to you about them. If I can, we can do that either private email or we can do it right on the YouTube. So happy hunting, guys, and have a nice day.